The year was 1921, and the world was still mending from war and pandemic. In a quiet corner of upstate New York, Ernest Mallory reported for his night shift at the Brewster train station, same as he always had for the last 17 years. He was a humble man, content with ticking clocks, squealing brakes, and the rhythmic clatter of distant locomotives. That night, the air was oddly still, thick like syrup. Ernest lit his pipe and glanced up at the sky. At first, he thought the sunrise had come early, but it was only 11:47 p.m. The sky glowed a deep crimson, pulsing like a wounded heart. Clouds shimmered in electric pinks and violent oranges, bleeding into the horizon. Ernest stepped outside, staring in quiet horror. It wasn't the northern lights. He'd seen those once on leave in Canada. This was something else, something wrong. The ground began to rumble, and with a low hiss, the rails began to bend and glow. The metal cracked and hissed as it buckled and warped, emitting the pungent scent of burning oil and ozone. Ernest stumbled backward as sparks burst from the telegraph machine inside. Every light in the station blinked once and died. He ran to the fuse box, but the instruments inside were fried, warped, as if struck by lightning. His compass spun like a carousel. Even his pocket watch had stopped ticking. "The Earth's gone mad," he muttered. Outside, the tracks had begun to melt. Molten steel pooled like mercury across the platform, bubbling in unnatural silence. The station groaned as support beams twisted like wax under a flame. He had to get out. Ernest ran. Not toward the road. There were power lines there. And if this was lightning from the sun, or something worse, he didn't want to be near anything that could attract it. Instead, he headed north, toward the old graveyard on the hill, thinking it was open ground, quiet, and far from anything metallic. He reached the wrought iron gate and paused, his breath ragged. The tombstones glowed faintly in the red light, casting long, crooked shadows. The air buzzed, a low, humming frequency that made his teeth ache. Then he heard it, the soft scrape of dirt. Ernest froze. From the corner of his eye, he saw movement. A thin, gray hand pushed its way out of the soil near the Thompson family plot. Then another. Then another. He stumbled back in horror as something pulled itself up from the earth, skeletal and rotten, eyes hollow, but glowing faintly with the same red hue that bled from the sky. Behind it, more dead stirred. Some still wore remnants of military uniforms, others burial suits from decades past. The graveyard writhed with motion as the ground split and cracked, unleashing the forgotten. Ernest ran, heart pounding like a war drum. Whatever storm had come from the sun hadn't just broken machines. It had unlocked something deep and buried. As he reached the edge of the graveyard, he dared to look back. The red sky burned overhead, and the dead walked beneath it.
Be sure to like, subscribe, and explore our Patreon for additional content. Even if you're not up for spending, there's still plenty of great stuff worth checking out. But for now, sit back, relax, grab some popcorn, and enjoy this video.
Almost every ancient culture had a winter solstice tradition based on the idea that the dead were vulnerable during the longest nights of the year. It was believed that strange, plasma-like entities from the sun, possibly tied to solar activity, would come to Earth looking for hosts. Since living bodies were already occupied, these entities would take over the dead, effectively turning them into reanimated mummies. To prevent this, people used fire, torches, and light to protect themselves and keep the darkness away. The ancient Egyptians marked this time with the demon days, a 5-day period outside their calendar when chaotic forces were thought to be strongest. Other cultures had similar beliefs and rituals. The Romans celebrated Saturnalia, the Norse observed Yule with fires and feasts, and the Slavs held Koliada to drive away dark spirits. In the Alps, people wore scary masks during Perchtenlauf to frighten off evil. In places like Persia, China, and among Native American tribes, solstice festivals also included fire and light to protect against harmful forces and encourage the return of the sun.
Thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, and explore our Patreon for additional content. And remember, the journey doesn't end here. It's just the beginning.